my YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Feltgood, and today we are going to bring you a beta tier list for PvP. Now, this will only be solo shuffle for two reasons. One, you can't queue regular 2s and 3s on beta, and I haven't played any BG Blitz as of yet, or ranked solo queue, whatever you want to call it now. So to start off with, we'll go, and I also want to make this point before we start. This is all comparative, like how they compare, how each class compares to each other, not what they do on their own. Because if you can get on a target dummy or whatever and pump, and then get in an arena and pump, but not pump, does that make sense? So it's like Windwalker, and I'll talk about that when I get there. So let's start off here. Frost DK is an A. I'm hesitant to put it on S because I'm not sure. The only S tier specs seem to be the ones that have a bug, or people are taking advantage of something that they really shouldn't be. Both dual wield and two-hander are strong, like strong. This is probably the most Legion-like that Frost DK has been since Legion. I mean, you could really make a debate on whether or not it's better than Unholy. What makes Frost DK strong in this one is the hero talents. The Riders of the Apocalypse is okay. It's not what you want to take though. You want to take the Deathbringer because it has Reaper's Mark, which personally I've seen hit for 1.8 normal and a 2.8 million crit, along with Exterminate. Those two things that Deathbringer allows you to do brings Frost up to par, if not a little better, depending on which playstyle you like, than Unholy. Unholy, A tier. For the same reason it's S tier on live. Both of these you get a lot of cleave with, which may or may not be good, but they are also wizard counters, which as of right now, going into the War Within, I think it's going to be a wizard meta. So I think you're going to see a lot of DKs, and I also think you're going to see a lot of rogues. Rogue right now is not doing great, but that's because of a bug talent. So once that gets worked out, we'll see what it does. Next one is DH. DH is a B for me, and for clarification purposes, B is normal. Like, if the baseline is B, anything above B, anything below B is abnormal. But DH isn't anything special as of right now. They do okay damage and they have okay survivability, but it's nothing like it was in Dragonflight at all. Boomy is okay. And I don't know if this is more of a product of everybody on beta being able to pump, so their defensives aren't as good as they were before the frenzied regen nerfs. But just like DH, their damage is okay and their survivability is okay. Feral? Feral's A. With a caveat. Feral's A if you know how to play Feral. And if you know how to play Feral, it has improved bleeds and improved survivability. The damage was never the issue with Feral, it was the survivability. It has really good survivability for the simple fact that you can frenzy regen in cat form now. So that lends to a lot more being able to stay up, and the more you're up, the more damage you're gonna do. So the numbers look way better on the meters. Resto Druids A, they've nerfed some of the damage it does, but you can still do damage, and you still help your team out with that. They have the fluid form talent in the Resto tree that allows you to proc mana from doing damage. So, you know, you get your trees out, you get your hots up, and then you just sit there and you spam Wrath in tree form. And it is fun and toxic. So we'll see how long this lasts before people start gropping about it. Dev is B. Devastation Evoker has high output, but their survivability is not there. I think maybe if once you get the rotation down on Dev, it'll work for some people, but the survivability isn't there. Prez Evoker, B. It's okay. It's nothing special. Hunters, right now, I would say all hunters are on A tier. Now, as far as survivability goes, that's the only one that I haven't personally run into, but I've talked to some people and they say survivability really, really pumps damage and is hard to defend against. Marksman is actually, I'm going to move Marksman down to B. Actually, I'm going to move all these down to B. I don't think they're A, the more I think about it. Marksman can pump damage as long as they're not the focus, but as soon as they become the focus, it shuts them down. Beast Mastery is solid, but it keeps getting nerfs, so I don't know how much longer it's going to be viable. But right now, if you're a BM main, you're in a good spot. You're just not overly impressive. And like I said, I haven't seen a survivability hunter or survival hunter, but the people I've talked to about it say it's very, very viable. Arcane Mage has an insane burst. Snoopy has a video on it where it literally just deletes somebody. It's a true one shot. Fire is very strong. I'm gonna put Fire on B because Fire survivability is like it always was. Right now, honestly, Frost is probably S tier. Aegis has a one-shot build that he made a video on, so go check that out. I'll link it in the I'll link it below. If you're a Frost main, they're looking very, very, very strong right now. Mistweaver, I'm gonna put on C, and this is both for Fist and for Casted. It just doesn't have enough throughput to match with the other healers right now. Could always change. Windwalker is D. This class is garbage. You do no damage. It's the damage you do. It didn't feel. I didn't get a sense of fulfillment out of it from doing the damage. It's all AOE trash damage. That's all it is. There's no focusing somebody down. It's all AOE. Your biggest spell is Celestial Conduit for damage, which is literally you do nothing. You press that button and you sit there and radiate damage. And it's massive damage, but it's not enough to bring it up. I played I would consider myself about an 18 to 2K player on live with Windwalker, and I was the bottom damage almost every single round that I played in Solo Shuffle. It's not fulfilling. Its damage is horrible. It is in a horrible, horrible spot. If you're a Windwalker main, I would suggest you try to find something else until it goes live, or maybe play around with something else. But this, I think if you're a Windwalker main, getting on beta for this is just a waste of your time. Holy Paladin is very strong. I think the more we get into the beta and when War Within goes live, it could rival Resto Druid as far as the ability to pump heals. You got a plate class healer that can deal out some heals with a little bit of damage. That's always going to make for a pretty good healer. My main all the way through Dragonflight was Rhett, and Rhett is not good. It's not good at all. It feels clunky. It doesn't do any damage. I was thoroughly disheartened when I played it. There's just nothing there. It's a shell of what it used to be. So I'm going to assume, with it being this bad, that Venruki got into somebody's ear on the devs and poured poison in it, like Beelzebub did in the Garden of Eden to Eve. Because it's not any good. Not any good at all. Very, very disappointed in this. Disc Priest is okay. It's not an outlier by any sense of the imagination. And that's a lot of what beta is trying to find outliers. Something that's really, really broken or something that's really, really underwhelming. And Disc is neither one of those. It is just very baseline. It gets the job done. It does what it's supposed to. Holy, I haven't seen a lot of. I'm going to put it on B. Just because I haven't seen a lot of it, but I haven't heard a lot of chatter about it being bad or good. So if I'm wrong about Holy, please inform me in the comments. For any of these, this is a discussion. This isn't me telling you what is and what isn't. Shadow Priest does no damage. I don't know why it doesn't do any damage. I'm not that familiar with Shadow Priest, but my arena partner from last season was a Shadow Priest main and would wreck shop. Now, he wasn't Wiz K, but dude could hold his own, and he said no damage. Moving on to in fact, I've only played against one Shadow Priest, and the only thing I remember about playing against them were their fears. Which, Holy Paladin has a hero talent, I believe it's a hero talent, that cuts the time of that a fear is active and affects the person the Paladin casts on. Now, I'm a little confused about Assassination Rogue because I've seen one or two and they were great, but I haven't seen a lot of them and I haven't had a chance to play it yet. So I'm going to put Asa on B just because the ones I have seen, the maybe 3 that I have seen, have really done really well. I haven't seen any Outlaw. I heard Outlaw was trash. And Sub, I'm going to put on C because I've only seen 1 or 2. But I've had both Waz and Peekaboo tell me that Subterfuge is not working correctly. So really all the rogue specs are not working as intended. So if you're on beta and you're a rogue main and you're like, we're done. I don't think that's the case. One, this is shaping up to be a wizard meta, like I was saying before, if things keep going the way I see them going. So Rogue always does well into Wizard meta. There's always a place for Rogue. And 2, Subterfuge is not working correctly. I can't expand on that because both of them, when I was asking questions, both of them just said it's just not working like it's supposed to. And that's huge for Rogues. Ellie, I I haven't seen a lot of Ellies, surprisingly enough, after Peekaboo got them nerfed by flaunting how overpowered they were. I've heard the LA community is very mad at him and blames him for their downfall, much like the Rets community blames Vinruki. But I also don't think Ellie's bad. It's I'm gonna put Enhance on B. I played a little Enhance and I didn't think it was bad. It has the same problem it kind of always does. You can't put enhancement on the same level as like a DH is right now, because you could never beat them with their self-healing. If you gave them enough sustained damage equal to another class, you would never kill an enhancement shaman. They would be too OP, which I think we saw in season 2, if I'm not mistaken, of Dragonflight, to where that Doomburst build and people were just dropping left and right, and you couldn't kill them because of the self-healing. So I'm gonna put Resto Shaman on C tier. This also has a caveat. Resto Shaman, I don't think some of their hero talents are working the way they're supposed to. I think when they do, Absurge just told me that he thinks they'll be on par with Resto Druids, but well, I'm not gonna put it on C. I'll put it on B. But right now, it's not working as intended. So it's like the rogues. You really can't tell. Oh, you really can't tell what the final outcome will be. Afflock's very strong. I'm torn. I'll put it on a high B. It does really good damage. Demo, I haven't seen in Arena. I have dueled some of them, and their damage seems nice, and their damage seems nice, and their armor is just, it's almost impenetrable. If you played beta, you have you have seen a destruction. If you are destruction locked, don't get too excited, because they're not working as intended. They're having the opposite reaction though, as where Rogue is in the dumpster because of it. Destruction warlocks are, it's not a bug. I think it's more of people abusing a known issue. But their chaos bolts are hitting for between 8 to 12 million on one cast. So it's just, people are getting deleted left and right. It's really making the solo shuffles unfun. Warrior, I think it's going to be on, as of right now, beta is on A tier. I don't say that happily, because I find Warrior boring to play and a pain in the ass to fight against. They're still, and it's the same story that it has been. You know, they run in, they zug, they do their little ballerina twirls, and people die. There's not really much behind that pretty face. And I haven't seen any Fury, so I'll put it on C. I haven't heard anybody talk about Fury. But there's my pre-patch beta tier list. If your class is at the bottom here, keep in mind it's the beta. Things will definitely change. If your class is in a good spot right now, pray that you don't have a streamer expose them and get them nerfed. So hopefully Peekaboo, Vinruki, all the usual suspects as far as getting classes nerfed. Peekaboo inadvertently, Vinruki usually is the lead pitchfork guy for getting stuff nerfed. I say this as a loyal fan of Enrique's, but I'm also was a rep main. So everybody knows. Now, if it's a mage, he'll never try to get it nerfed. It's just who he is as a person. And it's sad to see a quality human being, a quality Canadian. Canadians are good people, but you can only do so much. But to wrap it up, again, my name is Dr. Feltgood. You can follow me on Twitch TV at twitch.tv/Dr. Feltgood. I will be pushing Glad on a healer this season 1. So everybody tune in for that, and I will see you in the arena.